Hello everybody, this is Cam Shea, and I'm joined by...
Luke Riley.
Hi Luke, how are you doing?
Good, man. Happy to be back.
Yeah, totally. It's Tacho Tuesday, baby.
Yeah, it's been a few weeks, unfortunately, on account of me being on holiday.
Yeah, on account of...
And you being on holiday.
And we just don't... We love doing a disservice to our audience.
Yes.
It gives us a kinky thrill. Oh wow, I just admitted way too much. So what we're looking at here, Luke, is SEGA Rally. Now, depending on where you live, if you were sitting in America right now, it would say SEGA Rally Revo.
Revo, yes.
To mean revolution, but it's really kind of a reboot. It was a reboot for the series. This is a game that came out on PC, PS3, and 360, as well as I think PSP. But let's not worry about that version, because obviously the main ticket version with the console versions of the PC. And this was Sega's attempt to bring their Rally franchise kind of back into the public consciousness.
Yep.
Oddly enough, for such a well-known series, there haven't really been that many Sega Rally games over the years.
That's true.
I mean, you had like Sega Rally Championship, obviously, in the arcades in the mid-90s. And then we had Sega Rally 2 in the late 90s, which was arcade and Dreamcast. There was a Japan...
That was my jam.
Yeah?
Too. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good game.
That was my era. That was when I was actually of an age to visit an arcade by myself.
Yeah, right.
Had some money.
You had the money.
Had the money.
I just never had the money for arcade games. It was so sad.
I never had enough money.
Yeah.
I had enough for one go.
There was a Japan and South Korea only release called Sega Rally 2006.
Japan and South Korea only?
Yeah.
How,
yeah, and it was,
it
was a completely different team as well that made
right.
the game. So yeah, like not that many Sega Rally games, and then fast forward to 2007, and I guess racing games are pretty big business, and Sega felt that it was time to bring it back. So they actually tasked a brand new British studio, Sega Racing Studio, which was created to build AAA racing games for Sega. So what that was kind of saying, and obviously, there's some real heritage there from places like Codemasters.
Yep.
A number of Criterion, a number of high-profile UK studios had people from those studios had come across to this new one.
The country is full of them.
Exactly. So it was Sega kind of saying our racing games are a really important part of our heritage. We need to kind of bring them back, but we're going to entrust the Western developer with doing that, and bring a different kind of sensibility to things, and we'll see what happens. And ultimately, it didn't work out in any way, because this was the studio's essentially first and last game. It was created in tandem with Sega Rally 3 for arcades, so that technically was their last game. But that came out after the studio was disbanded. This game came out.
Man, that's heartbreaking.
It's full on. This game came out in late 2007, and then in April 2008, Sega closed the studio. And then Sega Rally 3 didn't come into arcades until like June or something like that.
Right.
So, and it's particularly baffling because this is a superb game.
Yeah.
I really like this game. It's got problems, and we'll get to some of those. But coming back to this game, it is still so much fun. I know 2007 is not really that long ago.
Yeah.
It's not quite the same as when we're replaying, games from the
like 1998 or something.
yeah,
like
or
no, but I mean, it's a while ago though. It's
Yeah.
a while.
Yeah, it is a while ago.
It's touching 8 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think that let's maybe not getting ahead of ourselves too much. But there's two reasons why this game and the studio failed.
Yeah.
The first was just the climate of games development in the UK in general at the time. Sega Racing Studio was the first of several really high-profile studios over the next 3 years to close.
Yeah.
So you had the likes of let's see here, Free Radical, Bizarre Creations, Real Time Worlds.
Yeah.
Bunch of studios that were kind of industry mainstays. But I think the other thing is that this was a time when people expected a lot more from racing games. It's not like Ridge Racer where you could release a game with a single course and people would be so wowed by it on a technical level that they'd pay full price for it. So the studio really made an attempt to flesh this game out and give it at least the feel of a lot of content. But the problem is that because it's Sega Rally, I think people's kind of impressions of it are it's an arcade experience, you know. So they had kind of that mental hurdle to get over to convince people to buy it. But then when you actually dig into what this game is, it just doesn't have the substance that it appears to. So it's kind of in this middle ground between, you know, because this was the time that, you know, games like Project Gotham Racing, Forza were really big, Burnout Paradise was just around the corner. Things had really changed in the racing genre.
Yeah.
At this time. Ooh, Safari 3, eh?
Yeah. This is the environment that makes me think of Sega Rally 2 the most.
Right.
With remember the animals used to dart across the road and all that sort of stuff, and then huge jumps. This is
did you play this game when it came out? You must have, surely.
You know what? I never owned it. I
Right.
played it in my former role. I didn't review it personally, and I don't know what it was that I never really got into it. Was it like not as good on PS3 as it was on 360?
I think that's a distinct possibility.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're playing it on 360, and at that time, 360 tended to have the better versions of the platform.
They
releases.
did, yeah. And at that time, I was kind of dedicated to PS3 on account of my role. But yeah, no, I just never got into it. But I guess I probably ought to have.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah. I mean, I know arcade games they have to be really good for me to get involved.
Yeah. I think you'd find that maybe the way the game's structured would provide a good challenge for you, because essentially there's three kind of broad classes that the courses are kind of divided into. So, you know, and then they're associated with the different car types. So you had Premier, which is like four-wheel drive cars, Modify, which were two-wheel drive and Super 2000, and Master, which were classic rally cars.
Classic ones, yeah. These ones feel like the current cars of their day,
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
that's right. So that basically means that the Premier class, they're very accessible, quite kind of light, quite easy to come to grips with. But you know, the more classic cars or the two-wheel drive cars are a lot heavier and take a bit more nuance. But the AI does offer some pretty stiff competition.
Yeah. I'm noticing that now. We should mention that I am driving.
That's correct. Yes. Sorry, we should have pointed out the head. So when I asked, "Have you played this game before?" that has a direct impact on the quality of what you're looking at.
I have now. Woo!
So
you changed view.
I think it's left bumper.
There we go.
But why you would want to be in anything other than first person or bonnet, I have no idea.
Well, you know what I say about rally games. Sometimes, for arcade rally games particularly, I like to see that power slides.
Right. See, I just like to feel the
speed.
lack of traction. I love first person perspective or bonnet in this game. I think it's got such a strong kind of impact.
It does have a good sense of speed.
Yeah, big time. So before we kind of get into the structure of the game, because we'll take a look at that when we back out to the menu. One thing I kind of want to point out here is the deformable terrain.
Yes.
Because MotorStorm was around at this time, but there weren't many games doing this style of deformable terrain, and I think it looks fantastic, particularly when you're talking about muddier sections of the course. You can really see the path ahead getting torn up and mud's flying, and the team made an effort to ensure this wasn't just a aesthetic thing either.
Yeah, you can feel it.
You can feel it in the vibrations and in the response of the car, but also you know, if you're driving on like a section that's been really flattened down, you'll have theoretically better traction, so you have a high top speed. So there's kind of a sense of using the racing line, getting a bit of extra speed I guess you get faster each lap.
Yeah, right.
I think that tech
you
stands
definitely
up
feel
really
driving in the grooves is different. It's kind of smoother. Oh, good grief. There we go.
So we're going to jump out once this race is over.
Yep. I think we're on the last lap now.
Because my favorite settings, there's five terrain types in the game. And so that's like Alpine, Tropical. Let's see, what else we got here? Sorry, I'm just gonna try.
There's the ice and...
Yeah, Safari, Alpine, Canyon, Tropical, and Arctic.
Arctic, yeah, right.
So we're gonna we're gonna do Tropical.
Yep.
And then we'll do an Alpine course because I reckon they're the ones that really showcase the visual splendor of this game the best. They're the ones that really jump out at me as because this game to me feels like that. It's hard to put your finger on it, but it's like a almost hyper real kind of arcade vibe going on. Oh, Luke.
I know. I'm actually going to come last.
Well, to be fair, the AI is set to medium. And this game starts out very accessible and very straightforward, but it does not actually take that long to get quite challenging. And that is actually one of my major complaints with it.
Yep.
So let's hop back to the menu screen. And just before we get there, I should just say that my 2007 save was completely intact. And I was building on it. And then, I connected the Xbox. I'd popped the game into... Well, I connected the Xbox to our Wi-Fi. And it said, hey, there's an update for this game. So I updated it. And I can no longer get to my old save. So we're basically on a clean install here.
What a tragedy.
Yes, it's ridiculous. So if you...
So what are we doing?
If you jump back out...
Jump
back out, and we'll just have a quick look to the left. The championship structure.
Okay.
Because when you drill down, so that's 1 of 3, then go into that.
Oh, go into this one, yep.
Yep. And then there's 3 sets of 3 within each of these. So if you kind of scroll through, I mean, there's a lot of content here.
Yeah.
But they're all built on essentially the 5 terrain types and a handful of courses for each, which you can race forwards and backwards.
Yep.
So the difficulty comes from ramping up the AI that you're facing off against. But when you click into that, just click all the way through to as an example of So you have to. There's no restart. So three courses.
Okay.
And you get points for your place in each race. And then obviously you're trying to get points in, to contribute to unlock further stuff. But you basically need to perform well in all 3 races. And so what that means is when the AI kind of ramps up, if there's, let's just say, an Arctic course, because they're quite flat and technically difficult, you can blow your whole set of 3 just on
one run. Yeah, right.
And so you get to a point where it's very demanding, and you really need to know each of the 3 courses inside out to stand a chance, because a lot of the time you'll be racing and you won't even see the person coming first.
Wow.
And so there's that challenge, right? But the problem with that is that there's no transparency about how to improve your chances. So you unlock all these different cars, but at no point does the game ever tell you the statistics of the cars, like how they're different. Or you can't tune them in any way, obviously. The only thing you can do is choose from 2 different... You can choose off-road or tarmac.
Yep.
So tarmac obviously better suited for paved roads, higher top speed, but less grip on loose surfaces.
Yep.
That's your choice, right? So there's no transparency. So they kind of want it to be this deep game where you have to get really good at it, but then they don't actually give you the tools or the information to make that transition from the opening couple of hours, which are really arcadey and really fun.
Yeah.
So it's this weird mishmash of game design elements. And I think it's purely because it's a box product. It's new proprietary technology. The state of arcade or state of racing games at the time meant that they had to offer substance. So it's these old school Sega Rally's arcade sensibilities meeting like an attempt to be a meaty, have more substance as a racing game, and it just ends up being in a murky middle area. But I will say that the first couple hours are awesome fun because the challenge is like really nicely pitched.
Yeah, right.
So you can get quite a lot of entertainment value out of it. And then back in the day, you had online, you had splits, well, you still have split screen, so you can match up against people who are also humans, and so you might stand a chance.
Right.
So let's just hop into one more race. I just think Tropical and Alpine just look glorious.
Yeah.
So take your pick, Luke. Which one would you prefer?
Let's try the Tropical.
Let's do Tropical 1.
All right, Tropical 1. Boom.
Boom. And if you wanted to, so click through one more.
Oh.
Choose whatever car you want.
Okay.
Um,
What do we got here?
and then hit X,
Classic.
and you can see the
Oh.
no, you can do it from here.
Okay.
See the many settings available to you. Wow.
Automatic or manual. Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, so it doesn't quite like take the next logical step to fit the structure of the game. And funnily enough, this is a game that feels like it would be better as a much briefer experience, maybe at a cheaper price or as a digital release, and that's what ended up happening.
Yeah.
Because Sega Rally 3, which was developed in tandem with this for the arcades, they wound up releasing a version of that on PSN and XBLA like 3 years later or something in 2011. And so that was kind of like your bite-sized like nugget of this game that made more sense.
Yeah, yeah.
But then that game was delisted from those services the next year.
Oh, really?
So you can't even get to it anymore. And I'm sure I own it, but I couldn't. You know, I don't have it on.
Maybe
on
it's
maybe
it's licensing.
Yeah,
You know, the car licenses and
yeah, maybe. I mean, maybe that's the thing. Maybe it just
deliveries and all that stuff.
Maybe it just didn't, you know, move the needle at all, and it just wasn't worth the money to continue to pay for those rights.
Didn't even license music in it, did it?
I don't know actually. Yeah. But it's really sad. I mean, this is a really good game. Yet evidently no one bought it because the studio that made it closed the following year. And it's, you know, this is in many ways I think the right way to reboot the series, at least from a technical perspective. I guess the market just wasn't ready to support, you know, the broader vision that they had for it, which was trying to make it a bit more of a meaty offering. Just times had changed.
Yeah. God grief. All right. All right. I've got it now. I'm getting it.
Well, the problem is, Luke, that you've got headphones on, and so you can't even, like, you've got these arrows.
Yeah.
But you can't hear the pace notes, and they're kind of important because he says stuff like, medium right, maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah. I always like it how it's like you're really unprepared as a co-driver, dude.
Yeah, maybe.
And you're saying maybe on the second and third laps too. Haven't you made a little note to say?
Weren't you here? But weren't you here 2 minutes ago?
Yeah. Like, does he swap what are they called? The navigators?
Co-drivers, navigators.
Oh, they are called navigators.
Yeah, all co-drivers.
Okay.
Look at that mud. Glorious mud.
Yeah, it's pretty striking. God. And yeah, then so I really like this kind of palette because it really speaks to the arcade origins of this series. And the Alpine is kind of similar because it's like snow-crested mountain ranges and like shiny tarmac and pockmarked roads, like through like winding forest paths and stuff. It's really cool. Yeah, really like this game.
Yeah, right.
You know, objections notwithstanding, I like it a lot.
Come on.
But just don't end this commentary on a downer, man.
I mean, maybe by coming last?
Yeah, maybe we should just quit now. You know, rather than
quit while behind.
Yeah, or quit while there's still a chance that you can miraculously come from 5th to 1st.
Well, at least if I get another 5th, I'll be consistent.
That's true. I think it's because you're not racing first person.
You reckon?
You're not.
I wanted people to see the mud and the all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. So what you're saying is you were doing a public service.
I am. I am saying that, and I was doing a public service. Here we go. Finishing. There we go. Woo! Anyway, thanks, Cam.
So how did that experiment go, having me talk while you play?
I think it was good. I probably should have played it before we started recording, so it wasn't so terrible at it. But, you know, I can get behind it.
Yeah. I just assumed that your innate racing ability would just come shining through. So it's a shame that it didn't.
It's a shame that it didn't.
Well, thank you for joining me, Luke.
Thanks,
and
man.
Indulging me in another quite arcadey Taco Tuesday.
This was your Rallylicious Taco Tuesday that you promised some weeks ago.
Yeah,
Yes.
really long time ago.
Yeah, no, thanks, man. I will endeavour to dig up something special for next week.
Yeah, go
I'll
through
do
the
that
list.
now.
We got a pretty long list. So yeah, all right. So we'll have a few weeks on, back on.
Yep.
Publishing every Tuesday-ish.
Yeah, let's do that. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thanks, man.
As always, hit us up at what's my Twitter thing?
At Mr. Luke Riley.
That's him. Yeah. What's yours again?
Jazzabration.
That's it. For any suggestions,
yep,
which we may or may not read.
Yeah, no, we'll see them eventually.
We will. Yeah, yeah.
If you want to really make sure we get the suggestion immediately, send it to @LuceO'Brien. Is that her Twitter handle?
Yes.
And ask her to pass it on to us.
Yeah, she will. She will.
And
All right, cheers.
We'll have it within seconds.
Bye.
Bye.